Welcome back to Art by Jish. On today's video, I will be showing you how to make this clear resin with gold foil light up rolling tray. First thing we have to do is unravel the LED lights. Now I ordered these online through Google, but you can find these in a lot of craft stores. They're pretty easy to find everywhere. For today's video, we will be using Amazing Clear Cast Plus by Illumalite, who I also recently became an affiliate with. So in the description down below, I will leave a link and a 10% discount code. And the mold we will be using today is from Puzzle Molds. I will leave a link in the description to their Etsy page. And it can be a real hassle to put these lights in this mold sometimes, so always make sure they work ahead of time. Basically our goal here is to just lay these lights down inside this mold. You can see here I put a little slit in the side of my mold that helps hold the wires in place, and it stays nice and tight so it doesn't get any leakage during the pouring process. One little tip for keeping this inside the track as you're laying it down is to keep just a tiny bit of tension on it so it basically hugs around the inside of the raised silicone parts. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video for the rest of this process to save us a little bit of time here. Once I have the LEDs laid down and they stay relatively in place, I use a little bit of UV resin. Squirt it in, not much, just enough so it covers the bottom and a little bit of the wires, and then hit it with your UV flashlight. I have two of these UV flashlights, so I like to go ahead and set one up, leave it right over the top of the first one, let it go ahead and cure while I'm getting another one ready and putting the light on that one. Here's a quick close-up of the process so you can see what I'm actually doing. And this is about what it should look like after you've cured it with the UV light. Now you're going to want to go ahead and do this to any spot that you think that the wires might not stay laying down. I usually put 5 or 6 per tray on mine. As long as you have enough, it really doesn't matter how many you lay down there, because once you pour the clear resin over it, it will totally hide all of these. Now these should stay on there for about 3 minutes a piece, so I don't know about you, but I get super bored and super fidgety, and I always at least start playing with the lights. Okay, on to the fun part. Let's mix this resin. We are using Amazing Clear Cast Plus for this project, and it is a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning you mix 1 part of one to 1 part of the other, equal amounts. And I have this cup pre-measured so I know exactly where to stop. Now all you have to do is follow the directions by the manufacturer and stir your resin thoroughly. One little tip here is you can see that I do have the video in fast forward, but the slower you mix your resin, the less bubbles you will have in it in the end. And being that this is a clear project we're doing, we want as few bubbles as possible. Make sure you scrape the sides and bottom really good, especially if you're using one single cup to do all of the mixing in. Alright, let's put some gold foil in this thing. One suggestion that I have here for this part is to make sure you put in little bits at a time. If you put too much in at one time and you start to stir it, it can actually clump together and just form like little rocks inside of your project. So go ahead and just add a few flakes here and there, give it a good stir, see if it's how you like it. If you want some more, add some more. Now when you're happy with the amount of gold foil that you have in your project, it's time to go ahead and go over to your mold and let's start to pour this thing. The only real trick when pouring something this simple is just make sure you pour it slow and you'll get less bubbles. One more suggestion I will make is at this point you usually want to try to make sure your lights are still functioning at this point before you pour your resin in there. You'll see in just a minute that I realized I forgot this step and I did it. Once all your resin is poured, at this time you can use a small toothpick or a small poker and just move the foil around to right where you want it. Now the last step in the actual making process is to remove all the air bubbles. Let the resin sit for a few minutes and then quickly go over it with your torch or with a heat gun. Now this one is an order off my Etsy page, so we'll go ahead and check the lights one last time. Perfect. And I'll leave a link to my Etsy shop down in the description below as well. Let's go ahead and take this thing out of the mold and see how we did. Looks great. One last light test, and there we have it. Here's a close-up of our final product. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you again next time.